You ever notice how some folks walk in a room and before they even open their mouth, people already paying attention? They don't gotta yell. They don't gotta brag. They don't gotta prove nothing. It's like respect just follows them. And then you got others, no matter how hard they try, people overlook them, talk over them, and don't take them serious. See, here's the truth. Respect ain't about how loud you are. It's about how solid you are. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about how you make other people feel in your presence. Psychology got some real secrets on this. I'm talking about little shifts in how you move, how you speak, how you think, that can change the whole way people see you. Respect don't come from titles. It don't come from money. It don't even come from age. Respect is earned by the way you carry yourself day in and day out. And once you learn the patterns behind it, you can walk anywhere, stand in front of anybody, and people going, give you that nod. The one that says, yeah, I respect that. So tonight, I'm gonna break it down. 5 secrets, straight from psychology, that'll make people respect you without you even having to beg for it. Because when you understand how people's minds work, you stop chasing respect and start commanding it. Respect begins with how you carry yourself, not just what you say. You can talk all day long, you can have the fanciest words, the most polished sentences, and the smoothest delivery, but if your body, your attitude, and your presence don't match up with your words, people aren't going to buy it. You ever seen somebody who talks a big game, but the way they stand, the way they look around nervously, the way they avoid eye contact tells you everything. You can feel it. You don't even have to think about it. Something in your gut says, nah, I don't respect that. And that's because respect is picked up before a word even leaves your mouth. The way you carry yourself is the silent introduction you give every time you walk into a room. People notice how you move, how you stand, how you walk. Are you hunched over, looking like you're trying to disappear? Or are you standing tall, shoulders back, moving with purpose? You don't have to be the loudest person or the flashiest person, but you do have to look like you believe in yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, why would anybody else? Respect always starts inward before it moves outward. Now let me tell you, people pick up on energy. You might think they're just watching what you say, but in reality, they're reading your whole vibe. Your facial expressions, your posture, your tone, the little things you don't even notice about yourself. A lot of times, that's what speaks louder than your words. Someone can say, I'm confident, but if their voice cracks, if their hands are fidgeting, if their shoulders are slouched, those words don't mean nothing. On the other hand, someone can walk in and barely say a word, but you can feel their confidence just by the way they're carrying themselves. And respect gravitates toward that energy. You know what else? Carrying yourself with respect doesn't mean acting like you're better than everybody else. It's not about arrogance. It's about self-assurance. It's about moving like you know your worth, without needing to put anyone else down to prove it. People respect balance. They respect the person who looks grounded, who looks sure of themselves, but still treats others with dignity. That's the sweet spot. And you don't need a degree in psychology to see it. Every single one of us has felt that difference. Think about it. The teachers you respected the most in school, it wasn't just because of what they said. It was because of the way they carried themselves. The leaders you follow, it's not just their words that inspire you, it's how they stand, how they walk, how they stay calm under pressure. Respect is tied to presence. And presence is built by how you carry yourself, how you look at people, how you shake their hand, how you listen when they talk. Those little actions carry a heavy weight. Here's the truth: the brain is wired to make snap judgments. Within seconds of meeting you, people are already forming an impression. Before you even speak, they've noticed your body language, your eye contact, your demeanor. That's why carrying yourself right is so important. You can't talk your way out of a first impression, because it's already been set by the way you walked in the door. And if you start strong, if you walk in like you belong, people will already lean in closer to listen to what you have to say. Now, some people think carrying yourself with respect means being perfect. Like you can't make mistakes, like you always got to look polished. That's not it. It's not about perfection. It's about authenticity. People respect you when you're real, when you own who you are, and when your actions line up with your words. If you make a mistake, but you admit it with your head held high, that's still carrying yourself with dignity. If you walk in a room and you're not the tallest, not the smartest, not the richest, but you stand there like you're enough, that's what earns respect. Let me put it this way, the way you carry yourself teaches people how to treat you. If you act small, they'll treat you small. If you act like you don't matter, they'll treat you like you don't matter. But if you carry yourself with self-respect, people have no choice but to adjust the way they respond to you. It sets the tone. That's why people who respect themselves get respected back, even without asking for it. So carrying yourself right is about discipline too. It's about checking yourself. How am I showing up today? Am I dragging my feet, or am I walking with purpose? Am I looking people in the eye, or am I looking away? Am I speaking with confidence, or am I mumbling like I don't believe my own words? These little adjustments may seem small, but they add up. And over time, people start to recognize you as someone who commands respect without ever demanding it. Respect starts in the mirror. The way you look at yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you value your own presence, that's what spills out into the world. If you don't think much of yourself, it shows. And if you honor yourself, it shows even louder. People can only reflect back the level of respect you first give to yourself. Carry yourself like someone who matters because you do. And when you move like that, speak like that, stand like that, the respect will follow you without you even having to chase it. People respect consistency more than perfection. You don't have to be flawless for people to respect you. You don't have to get everything right all the time. You don't have to know all the answers. You don't even have to be the best in the room. What you do need to be is consistent, because consistency builds trust, and trust builds respect. Perfection is this shiny idea everybody chases, but nobody really believes. Deep down, we all know people aren't perfect. We don't even expect them to be. What we want to know is, can I count on you? Are you going to show up the same way tomorrow as you did today? Are you reliable, or do you change with the wind? Think about the people in your life you respect the most. It's not the ones who brag about how perfect they are. It's the ones who show up steady time after time. They say they're going to be there, and they are. They tell you something, and they mean it. They have a standard for themselves, and they keep it. That's consistency. And every time they show up the same way, that respect grows a little deeper. Because people want stability in a world that's shaky. The danger with chasing perfection is it crumbles as soon as you make one mistake. If people only respect you because they think you're flawless, the minute you mess up, that illusion is gone. But when respect is built on consistency, mistakes don't destroy it. People know you're human. They know you'll stumble, but they also know you'll keep moving. You'll stay grounded, you'll correct yourself, and come back strong. That's what creates respect that lasts. Now, let me tell you something. Consistency doesn't just live in the big moments. It shows up in the small things. The way you treat people every day. The way you keep your word, even when it's inconvenient. The way you show up on time, not just once, but again and again. The way your mood doesn't shift so wildly that people never know what version of you they're going to get. Those little patterns add up. People are always watching, not in a judgmental way, but in a way that says, can I trust this person? Can I count on them? And when your actions keep saying yes, that's when the respect deepens. Consistency is about alignment too. Your words, your actions, your values, do they line up? Or do you say one thing and do another? People might not notice the first time, they might even forgive it the second time, but if it becomes a pattern, respect evaporates. On the other hand, when people see that your words and your actions match, even if they don't agree with everything you say, they'll respect you for being real. They'll respect you for being someone who means what they say. There's also something calming about consistency. When you're around someone who's steady, you can relax. You don't have to keep guessing. You don't have to keep wondering if they're going to snap or flake or change up on you. And because of that, respect grows naturally. That's why bosses who are consistent get more respect from their teams. Why friends who are dependable are valued more. Why leaders who stay grounded through storms are followed. It's not about them being perfect, it's about them being steady. Consistency builds reputation too. Over time, the way you repeatedly show up becomes the story people tell about you. She's always on point. He's always honest. You can always count on them. That's respect. Not because you impressed them one time, but because you kept proving it day after day. Anybody can impress people once. That's easy. But consistency, that's where true respect comes from. Now here's the part most people miss. Consistency doesn't mean you can't grow or change. Some people think being consistent means staying the same forever, but that's not it. It means staying consistent with your values, with your effort, with your character, even while you grow. You can improve, you can evolve, you can become better, but the foundation of who you are stays steady. People will respect you more for that. Because they see you're not fake. You're not one person today and someone completely different tomorrow just to please people. You're growing, but you're still you. Respect comes from patterns people can trust. If you treat people with kindness today, but disrespect them tomorrow, they won't know which version of you is real. But if you treat people with kindness every time, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, that's when they start to believe in your character. And when they believe in your character, they respect you. Sometimes the greatest respect isn't earned by grand achievements, but by quiet consistency. Showing up for your family day after day. Keeping promises that seem small, but matter deeply. Sticking to your values when it would be easier to bend. These are the moments that build respect stronger than any speech or performance ever could. People respect consistency because it's rare. The world is full of folks chasing perfection, posting highlights, showing off, but not many who stay steady when no one's clapping. When you do that, it sets you apart. So when you want respect, don't worry about being perfect. Focus on being consistent. Focus on keeping your word, showing up steady, and living in alignment with what you believe. Because people don't need you to be flawless. They just need to know they can count on you. And when you give them that, they'll give you respect that can't be shaken. Listening deeply makes others feel valued and earns respect. See, most people think respect comes from talking, from having the right words, from knowing what to say at the right time. But let me tell you something. Respect often comes from shutting your mouth and opening your ears. People don't just want to be heard, they want to feel heard. They want to feel like what they're saying matters, that their thoughts, their feelings, their experiences have weight. And when you give someone that space, when you're not rushing to cut them off, when you're not waiting for your turn to talk, but actually listening, that's when respect begins to flow. The truth is, everybody's carrying something. Everybody's got a story, everybody's got worries, dreams, struggles. And so many times they go through their day with nobody really paying attention to them. People nod, people smile, people say, yeah, I hear you. But most of the time they're not actually listening. They're distracted, they're thinking about their own problems. They're scrolling on their phone, or they're already planning what they want to say back. That kind of listening doesn't make anybody feel respected. But when you lean in, when you look someone in the eye, when you pause and let their words land, you give them the gift of your attention. And that's one of the most powerful forms of respect there is. Think about the people you admire the most. I guarantee one of the reasons you respect them is because of how they listen. They don't make you feel small. They don't brush you off. They don't make you feel like your thoughts don't matter. They listen with patience, with curiosity, like what you're saying has value. And that makes you respect them because respect is a two-way street. When someone makes you feel important, you naturally see them as important too. Listening deeply also means you're not just hearing the words, you're hearing the meaning behind the words. You're catching the tone, the emotion, the pauses, the things left unsaid. That kind of listening is rare. Most people hear enough to respond, but not enough to understand. But when you really understand someone, when you can reflect their feelings back to them, when you can show them, I get you, That's when the bond of respect grows strong, because people don't respect the ones who make them feel invisible. They respect the ones who make them feel seen. And here's something else. When you listen deeply, you learn. You learn about people, about life, about perspectives you never considered. Respect comes naturally when people see you as a learner, not just a talker. They see you're humble enough to pay attention, to take in their wisdom, to understand, instead of always trying to prove yourself. Nobody respects a know-it-all, but everybody respects someone who listens, absorbs, and values what others bring to the table. Listening doesn't mean agreeing with everything. You don't have to nod at every word or act like you believe what they believe. What earns respect is when you show that even if you don't agree, you still value their right to speak. You still value their experience. That's maturity. That's strength. And that's what makes people say, I respect that person. Let's be real. Listening is hard sometimes. Our minds run fast. We want to fix things. We want to share our own experiences. But respect comes when you hold back that urge and just give the other person their moment. You let them talk it out. You let them feel safe. You don't rush to judgment. You don't interrupt. You don't dismiss. You create a space where their words matter, and the respect they give you for that will last far longer than any advice you could have offered. Listening deeply is also a form of leadership. People think leaders are the ones who talk the most, who give the orders, who command the room. But the greatest leaders listen first. They listen to their people, to their team, to their family. They take in information before making decisions. And because of that, people respect them more. They respect leaders who don't just dictate but consider, who don't just talk but understand. Listening makes people feel included, and when people feel included, they give respect willingly. We live in a noisy world where everybody's trying to shout louder than the next person. That's why listening stands out so much. It's rare. It's valuable. It makes people stop and think, this person is different. And different in a good way. It doesn't matter if you're in a boardroom, a classroom, or your own living room. Listening deeply makes you magnetic. It makes people trust you, admire you, and yes, respect you. At the end of the day, respect isn't about how much knowledge you have or how well you can speak. It's about connection. And connection is built through listening. When you make someone feel like their voice matters, you've given them something priceless. And they'll carry that feeling with them every time they see you. Every time they hear your name, they'll respect you not because you demanded it, not because you shouted for it, but because you earned it quietly by listening when it mattered most. Boundaries are the invisible walls that protect dignity. A lot of people struggle with respect because they think being nice means saying yes to everything, giving all of themselves away, and never drawing a line. But here's the truth. When you don't have boundaries, people don't respect you. They might like you, they might take advantage of you, they might lean on you, but respect is missing. Why? Because respect is tied to limits. When you set clear boundaries, you teach people how to treat you. You show them what's okay and what's not okay. And when people see that you respect yourself enough to draw the line, they'll respect you too. Boundaries aren't about being cold or selfish. They're about self-respect. They're about recognizing that your time, your energy, your emotions, your space, all of that has value. If you give it all away freely, without limits, people stop valuing it. But when you protect it, when you say, this is important to me, this matters, others start to see your worth. It's human nature to respect what's guarded. Think about it. If something is left lying around, people don't treat it with care. But if something is placed behind a glass case, people immediately see it as valuable. That's what boundaries do for your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that boundaries push people away. But the truth is, the right people are drawn closer to you because of your boundaries. When you're clear about who you are, what you stand for, and what you will and won't accept, you filter out the people who don't respect you and attract the ones who do. Boundaries are like a magnet. They repel disrespect and attract respect. And that's powerful. Now, setting boundaries isn't easy. It requires courage. It means you might disappoint some people. It means some people won't like it when you say no, or when you stop letting them take advantage of you. But here's the thing: if someone gets angry at you for setting healthy boundaries, that's not someone who respected you in the first place. Respect is tested in those moments. And the people who stay, the people who honor your boundaries, those are the ones who truly value you. Boundaries also keep you grounded. Without them, you burn out. You give too much, you get drained, and eventually you start resenting the very people you were trying to please. But with boundaries, you keep yourself balanced. You know when to give and when to step back. You know when to listen and when to say, I need space. You know when to help and when to let people figure things out on their own. And people respect balance. They respect someone who knows themselves well enough to say,